Hello and welcome to another episode of the She podcast. Be seen, be heard, be empowered. And I have an incredible guest here with me today, Alison Simmons. Hi, Alison. Thank you for joining me on today's show.
Hey, Heidi, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to dive in with you. Before I do, though, Alison, I just want to give a introduction to all of our listeners about you. So Alison is a math geek turned online business manager and a self-proclaimed RVMomprenuer. Strategy is her superpower, while systems and management are her zones of genius. Combining her education background with her online marketing skills and sales experience, Alison helps established business owners tackle the challenges of their growing businesses with easy to follow, step-by-step processes that creatively solve problems and promotes growth at the same time. Her encouraging yet straightforward approach to accountability ensures that our clients keep taking the necessary next step towards achieving their goals. And I love, Alison, that you say encouraging yet straightforward approach, because I'm the same way. And I like people when I'm working with them, whether it's in a capacity of support with my team or with mentors, I like to give it, tell it to me straight, no fluff involved. So I love that you do that.
Yeah, well, the way that all kind of started is it's just my natural. I'm an Enneagram 8. For those of you who know the Enneagram, like I'm the challenger. But it's really funny because I was inviting a new client onto their onboarding meeting, and I sent them their agenda ahead of time. And the response I got back from them after reading the agenda in Slack was, "I think we just hired you to be our boss." And I thought that was the greatest response ever. And because Meta is always listening to our conversations and reading our screens, an ad popped up for a t-shirt on Facebook and it said, "I'm not bossy, just aggressively helpful." And I screenshotted that and immediately sent it back to the client. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, if you don't buy that t-shirt, we're going to." So I went ahead and ordered the t-shirt. I wear it all the time when I'm working with clients, and they all agree, like, that is my mantra. That is exactly who I am.
Oh, I love that so much. And you make it fun, that's one of my like big words in my, when I was working with my clients, I'm like, make entrepreneurship fun. It doesn't have to be this, drudgery of a thing every day. So I love that you do that. We were talking behind the scenes before we hit the record button, that about tips and some things that you could share. So do you have a few tips, 1 to 3, that you could share for business and people that are growing their businesses online to make it like just things simpler for them?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So it's just funny that, again, that you should bring this up because you interviewed on my podcast a couple of weeks ago and you inspired me to start going live on Instagram every day. And I did that, and on my RVMomprenuer account, just because it was just, that's my fun account where I just sort of let loose. But now I'm going live every day on IG on my AlisonLee.strategy account. And I am sharing a day in the life of an OBM. Do I practice what I preach? And so I am literally getting on and sharing something that I do every day that I tell my clients to do to take control of their business. And like, so this morning's live was all about how I use my Google Calendar to time block my to-do list. And it gives me a very specific, like, this is how much time you have to get things done today, Alison, because you have this meeting and this podcast interview, and then you have this chunk of time to get client work done, and you have this. And by doing that, by time blocking, you will release yourself from this, I have so many things on my to-do list that I have to get done. So that was the tip I gave today, was taking advantage of time blocking. The other quick tip I will give, that is, if you don't have an online manager, like project manager tool, like a Trello, that's my go-to. For those of you out there who love ClickUp, God love you. I hate ClickUp. It's the devil, in my opinion. I hate it. But I believe E is simplicity. Trello is my thing. But if you don't have an online to-do list that attaches to your calendar, get one. Get one. They're free. That's the other big tip. Start there and then start time blocking.
I love both of those. The time blocking one, if the calendar, my team knows if it's not on my calendar, it's most likely not going to happen. So, I mean, I even have my kids pick up on there. So nobody can schedule a call. Nothing can accidentally come in there. The time is blocked off. Reminders are set. Because sometimes I can get in the flow of working and it's like, oh my gosh, I have to go get my children. And I don't want to be late for that. That's pretty.
I have an alarm on my phone or I'll forget.
It's a pretty important thing in my day. So yes, time blocking and using that Google Calendar, like this is my go-to of as far as like what gets done. And I think I love that you do that too, because that is like and I hate the word use the word Bible, but this is my work Bible, like as far as
Yeah.
productivity goes. And then the Trello, I don't use Trello enough, and I admit that. And I love that you love Trello. One of our social media marketer manager, she introduced us to Trello, and she also does my podcast producing, and everything is in Trello. And when I open it up, I'm like, this is organizational, like genius.
Yes.
It's simple. It's not, she did a Loom video, showed me how to use it, and I'm still learning things. So I'm like, ooh, that was really cool. How did I just create that? Like, it is exciting. So I agree with you. Like Trello and Google Calendar, definitely. If you're not utilizing those in your business, like listen to Allison. Start today. Don't even wait. Start yesterday.
Yeah.
So I usually start with this question, and we waited because we were talking behind the scenes, and I couldn't wait to hear your tips. And because you are so organized, and I know that's one of my biggest challenges in my business. But how did you get started when you started your business? What was the catalyst of got you to start your business, or encouraged you to start your business, or why you started your business? Was it something that you had, something that like a pain point or a problem you had experienced personally, or something that you had helped others with, and now it was just the normal next step to start your business and build from there?
That's a great question because and again, I literally just recorded my journey on my podcast that just dropped yesterday. But the really funny thing is that no, I didn't start with my own pain point. This was literally becoming an online business manager is a culmination of 20 years of all of the other decisions I made that I walked away from. And so it all started way back when I graduated college with a degree in math and physics, and my parents wanted me to work for NASA. They were so, did y'all ever see the movie Armageddon with Bruce Willis, right? And Liv Tyler, and like he's the whole astrophysics thing. My parents thought I was going to stop a meteor from hitting the earth someday, all because I took astrophysics. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to run off and get married and become the manager of a bagel restaurant. So thanks for paying for college, but this is where I landed. And it all started that way. And as I shared in my episode, I look back and I'm like, starting from that job, I learned skills along the way for 20 years that when I became an online business manager, it was like all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle dropped into place all at once. So I learned how to be a manager. I learned how to be a communicator. I learned how to talk to a boss or, i.e. a client. And I learned how to talk to a team, like a staff, right? So that was there. And then the next job I had was a financial planner, and which aligned more with my math background. And I learned how to overcome imposter syndrome. I mean, how do you sit down with people that are in their 40s when you're 24 years old and tell them what investments they need to be making for their retirement and what kind of life insurance they need to buy? And so there was that imposter syndrome I had to get over. And yet I still walked away from that because ultimately I just knew it wasn't a good fit. Nobody wanted advice from a 24-year-old blonde. Okay. They wanted an old man with white hair. It's just the reality of financial planning. So I walked away. I became a math teacher. And so you laugh, you said about me making things fun. There is nothing more challenging than teaching a 14-year-old at 8 a.m. on a Monday to love algebra. Okay. That's like, that's impossible. I had to learn how to be edutaining. I had to educate them so they could pass the exam the state required for them to graduate. And I had to entertain them so that they didn't hate me every day.
Can I send my daughter to you? She's 14. 14, and math is our biggest challenge in this house these days. So yeah, she's coming to you in the summer. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, but the reality is, and my poor children, I mean, like my kids, I have a about to be 20-year-old, and she can still sing the quadratic formula because I taught it to my students and I taught it to my own children, right? Like all the things. And so I did that for a long time until I started having more kids. I ended up having 5 children and wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I gave up teaching, decided to stay at home, and then I became a direct sales consultant because that's what every stay-at-home mom seems to do in her 30s, right? Direct sales. And so you have to, in that role, I had to get very used to being bold. I had to tell people what I did, what I sold. Are you interested? What are you struggling with? What's that pain point? Oh, I've got a product that can solve that problem. And I got really good at not being afraid of talking about what I did and sharing what I did with people. So it was another skill that I picked up. I did that for a few years and I walked away, not because it was too hard, but because honestly, I was too successful. It became my personal identity. It became where I found my joy, and it pulled me away from my family. And I was just very convicted that it was not right for me. And so I walked away. But again, it was like another arrow in my little, whatever you call that, you keep slung on your back, right? It was just something in there that I put in. And then from there, I started an online women's ministry, and I started mentoring newly marrieds and college age girls. And that was where I learned all of those hard skills of social media management and website design and email marketing and funnels, because I was creating an online ministry program. And so, again, more skills. Yet I walked away again. Why? Because I had a new opportunity to become an integrator for an online business coach. So 18 years all led to 2 years ago when I got this job as an integrator for an online coach. At the same time, my husband was doing his own business for 10 years, walks in the door one day from work early, sits down at my desk and says, "That's it. I'm getting out of my business. We're leaving. We're selling everything. We're getting an RV and we're out of here. I'm done."
Wow.
And so, again, it was like I had all these skills. I finally had this online job, and it was the perfect moment because my husband decided to walk away from his business. We left everything behind, and I was going to be funding our adventure for who knows how long, right? But even then, that integrator position didn't last. It was not a good fit. Me and this coach, she was a lovely person, not a good communicator. We didn't match well. So I walked away and ended up becoming a virtual assistant and did that for a time, realized that I had more to offer. And so eventually I ended up becoming an online business manager. And it was like putting on a glove. Years, all those years of experience of the skills that I was learning. And then it was like this magic unicorn job was people needed all of these things that I now could do. And when I put it out there to my network of people and I was like, "Hey, this is what I think I'm going to do for a living. Are you interested? Or do you know anybody interested?" The response was overwhelming. People could not wait to either become a client or to refer me to someone they knew. They were like, "They need you. You're the unicorn. They need you. Let's sign you up." So yeah, no, it wasn't my pain point. It was other people's pain points that I realized I could solve with 18 years of experience with different careers that I had had.
That's such a great story, and thank you for sharing it. And I love how you just kept saying, so I left, and then I left, and then I left." Like many people stay stuck. They stay
Yeah.
stuck in something that they're not happy in because they're scared to leave. They're scared of what's next. And what if I fail? And you literally were just like, "No, this isn't working anymore." It was there for a time. It served its purpose. I served my purpose in that space. And now it's time for me to move on. I don't know what's next, but I'm trusting that whatever's next is perfect. And
Yeah.
just like the RV, moving into the RV, and now you're traveling with your kids and your husband, and I'm curious how you're juggling all of that in a small space, because I'm a single mom with kids and I don't know if I could be. I think it's amazing. Like, I want to. I think it's an
Yeah.
incredible experience that most children and families don't have. So I give you a lot of, like, I have envy. Share with you. I have a little envy there. I think it's amazing that you did that. So since you were literally just jumped into this RV
Mhm.
um, life now, and you said no, and you walked away to many different things, which led you to this. And that's one thing that I really want to share with our audience. That's the takeaway that I'm getting, is that don't be afraid of your next step. If you're not happy where you are and you're feeling stuck, and then it's okay. You can take your next step. Like, one step leads to the next, and do what's best for you, but don't stay stuck. Don't feel like that's the end all be all. And just because you started here, this is where you're ending. There's so much more to your story and your journey. And Allison is proof of that. So I'm hearing from your story, it sounds like you have no fear. You're fearless, Allison. Do you have any fear when you left and started your next journey or this business, or even moving into this
Oh,
RV lifestyle?
so that's like my mom's whole thing with me. That's all she's ever said. She's like, you're not afraid of anything. She's always described me as a cat that literally jumps out of the highest limb of the tree and then twists in the air and lands on her feet. And that's kind of how I am. I am not so you know how you marry your opposite, right? Like, my husband is the deliberator and the researcher and the figure out every possible scenario before we start so that we know, and there's a place for that. I am the opposite. I figure it out on the fly. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not a planner, and it doesn't mean I'm not strategic. I just don't caught. I think that that is one of the things that actually makes me a very unique online business manager, because a lot of I am a detail person. I'm a math person. I mean, I think bookkeeping is fun, y'all. I reconcile my books every week, and I'm like, this is a good time, right? Like, I'm in the details, but I don't get caught in the weeds because I'm constantly looking forward and I'm constantly moving forward. And that's where this accountability and me pushing people to keep going has been really helpful for my clients. And so, yeah, I'm this sort of unique, like, I plan and I'm strategic, and yet at the same time, I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? It doesn't work out. We try something else, like, but we won't know until we try. So let's plan it, try it, and then tweak and move on, right? Keep going.
Yeah. Thank you for let's preach. Because that's one thing that I find with many entrepreneurs is they feel like they get stuck somewhere and then they're scared to take the next step because what if it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay, let's try it. Because if it doesn't work, great, you're one step closer to it working. And
Yes.
if it does work, boom. But if you won't know unless you try, and
Right.
you learn and grow by taking one small, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to leap over the cliff. You get to take a small step, make sure
Yes.
it's the ground is stable, right? And then
Yes.
decide if that's what direction you want to go in. But you won't know until you try. So I love that you said that. So how's RV life going? What any
Oh my gosh, I love it. The best decision we ever made. Oh my gosh. So, and this is funny because, again, given my personality, like, I'm super organized. I hate clutter. I get very claustrophobic. I had several friends that were like, are you sure you can handle this? This is insane for your personality. You are not like easygoing, go with the flow. Like, you're nuts. And I, to an extent, I was a little bit nervous, but we have, again, my husband being the way he is, he planned things so meticulously and detailed wise, it made it very easy. He turned the RV into a home. As you can see, like, we have
Yeah.
our Hobby Lobby signs, and I have my fish tank background, and I have a mantle and a fireplace. Like, this is our home. It's not an RV. So for starters, the atmosphere that we've created inside the RV is very homey. Secondly, my office is my kitchen table, right? Or it's my bedroom. And I set it up and break it down every day. And the beauty of that is it's a very distinct start the workday, end the workday. And so this RV life has forced me to put up boundaries simply because of physical proximity to my family. I can't work all the time. I can't just pop in and grab and do an email. I can't just whatever, like, no, I put everything away so we could eat. Like, it's not available. So the RV has forced boundaries on my work life, which has been fabulous. The other thing, and people have asked this, like, aren't you like just sick and tired of being around everybody all the time? Okay, two things. One, we did homeschool for the first year. I hated it. I am not a good homeschool mom. Yes, I am a teacher by nature. No, I am not a good homeschool mom for my own children. So that was hard because it was 24/7 with my children. And I was their mom, I was their teacher, and I was trying to run a business. That was extremely difficult. I'm just saying, I'll be honest. But over the summer, my husband and I decided we were going to park the RV for the next school year. So we are sent one position for now, and weekend adventures, but we're one position for now all the time. And the kids went back to school so that I have some space to do my own thing. So yeah, there's pros and cons. But if anyone out there is looking to do the RV life, I'll tell you, it is by far the best decision our family ever made. It's the weight that comes off your shoulders when you get rid of so much stuff. And there's so many, there's less bills, and there's less stress. I love it. Best decision we ever made.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think there's so many people out there who are moving towards, I think maybe since COVID, I'm not sure what exactly happened, but I feel so many of us are moving to simplicity. The simpler we can make our life, the better. And that's one thing I aim for in my business and my clients' business is let's keep this super simple so you can shut down like you do, Allison, and go enjoy your family. When I started, my business was running like my life was fitting into my business. And now I created it to be the reverse. I want my business to fit into my life. And that's what we should do when we're building a business is what's your vision for yourself, and how does your business supplement that, right? Or
Yes.
help you achieve that. So for those people who don't know what an OBM is, or can you share what that is for maybe we may have some starters and they'd be like, what is an OBM?
Yeah. So for starters, I'll tell you, an online business manager is not your first hire. It's also not your second hire. I don't come in until you honestly have a team. So once you have a coach that is helping you grow your business, and once you have at least a virtual assistant who is helping you handle admin stuff, and you've reached either a plateau or you've just noticed that you've been taking a lot of messy action, a lot of throw the spaghetti at the wall and sees what sticks, but you've started to gain traction, you've started to get clients, you're making money, all the things are happening, and now you're like, oh no, like I can't sustain this. I have lost control of my business. I don't know which end is up. Like I'm making money, but I'm underwater all the time. That is when you hire an online business manager. And what I come in and do is I help you take that big picture vision that many business owners have. They're visionaries, and I love that, right? But then that's not necessarily something tangible they can grasp. And so that's why they're sort of like a ping pong ball, right? In the arcade, like ding, 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 all over the place, trying to figure out how to make this vision a reality. And they're getting somewhere, but they don't know how to keep getting further. I come in and I help you strategize how to achieve that vision by breaking it down into goals. And then we take our goals and we break them down into objectives. And then we break our objectives down into small tasks. And then I assign tasks to the owner, to the VA, to myself if they hire me to help implement, right? And we make a streamlined plan of attack to, put that puzzle together over time. And so that's really what I do. And the different areas of the business, some people, I do their launches for them, whether they have a new product launch, I do an entire content marketing strategy and I help them implement that. I have one client who is literally, I swear, he's getting ready to take over the country with his business, right? We have expanded him from being, he's a service provider where he was just doing individual classes that he was teaching. Well, now he's doing large groups. He's taking on government contracts. We've opened up a store. He's doing drop shipping, he's got instructors all over the country. And that's been in a year, all because it was like, he had this vision and we had to rein it in. And what do we focus on this month? Let's make progress. What do we focus on next month? Let's make progress. And so I really like I said, I'm not bossy. I'm just aggressively helpful. In some ways, I'm the no girl. I look at you and I tell you, no, we're not working on that this month. Okay, great dream. I love it. Put it on the parking lot list. That on Trello, right? We all have a parking lot list on our Trello board. Put it there. We'll talk about it at your next strategy meeting in a month. This month, we're going to do this. This is what we already agreed on. And I help keep business owners on track and sort of get them through that plateau. Some people hire me for a short period of time. I'm on for 3 months. I kind of get them organized and then they're off again doing their thing. And then I have 3 clients that I am just, they plan on taking me all the way. And I had a client the other day who told me, he's like, if we bankrupt, we're taking you with us. If we make $1 million next year, we're taking you with us. And I was like, motivation for me to make sure you make the $1 million and don't go bankrupt.
Exactly. That's great that they bring you in a part of their plan though. So you're well on board with their vision. I love that you said that, you're like, no, like this is great. And no, like effective, whether you're an OBM and you're on the team building side, I got excited, I'm Italian. On the team building side, where you're building your team, or you're like you come in as a team member, or you are a coach, or and you're coaching clients. It's really important that you do exactly what Alison said, because I've done that with clients before. They're like, they cut their accountability call monthly with me, and I'm like, okay, where are we at? What's we're doing? And they're like, this is complete. And so this one I'm working on, I'm thinking I'm going to do it this way. And I'm like, I love you. And
No.
that's not the path. Like, exactly. Like that's for growth. And we're not there yet. We're getting there, but let's table that for now. Let's get this dialed in and then we can start implementing that. So I love that you do that with your clients, because it's organized, and it's a clear path where we can, because I'm an entrepreneur and I'm visionary, and I can be highly scattered when it comes to my business. I'm highly focused and organized with my clients. But when it's my own thing,
Mhm.
it can be scattered, right? And is that what you find with your clients? Like they can be
Oh,
on it in certain areas, and then when it comes to their baby, they're just like they can be all over the place.
well, I think with everybody, everyone has their zone of genius, right? They have what they're super good at. And when they're doing that thing, they are laser focused. Excuse me. I have one woman who is she's an amazing ADHD coach. And when I listen to her talk about emotional regulation for ADHD entrepreneurs, I mean, oh my gosh, she could, it's like a dissertation. It's incredible. And then when we talk about, launching something in her business, and she's like, I don't even know where to start. And I just think, it's not that she's not brilliant and laser focused on what she knows, but there's an area, there's a blind spot, right? And yeah, I think every entrepreneur has that. And the best thing you can do as a business owner is to recognize blind spots and get help in them, and stop thinking, well, but if I can do it for her, why can't I do it for myself? If I can teach them how to manage their business and their time better, why aren't I good? Like I can do it for myself. No, oftentimes you need the outside objective person to come in and see the things that you can't see in your business. And so, yeah, it's very much my clients, and I'm blessed to have clients that really recognize this is what I'm good at. Here are all the things I'm not, Allison. You do all those things.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. I'm sure there was times where they were just like, let me figure it out. And then when they finally realized, and that's when you're going to, for those of you listening, that's when you're going to grow and scale the fastest, when you can really get clear and look at your business objectively, not as your baby, not emotionally, but as a true business, and take emotion out of it and go, okay, what am I really good at? If I wanted to leave, like walk away for a month, could it still run?
Yeah.
What parts need me? And then you can start outsourcing the others and reach out to someone like Alison, once you have a little bit of your team built, and then she's ready to come in and really take your vision, hone it in and run with it and put you on a clear path and plan. Alison, where can we find you for those people that want to reach out to you? Because you're incredible. You're a breath of fresh air and I love talking to you. So
So my website, AlisonLeeSimmons.com, and that's Leigh. And so you can find me on my website. I'm on Instagram, AlisonLee.strategy, or the RVMomprenuer is the other account that I have. Those are the two places I hang out the most. And then obviously my website. I have a newsletter, Action Academy, that is just free resource that I send out every week. Every other week, I send out something that's got a productivity tip, a management tip, a marketing tip, and then a mindset shift. And then the next week, I do a deep dive into one of the things I shared in the previous newsletter. And so that's a free resource that if you head to my website and click on the newsletter, you can sign up and get that and communicate with me that way.
amazing. Well, I've had such a great time talking to you. I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
I know we know that you live in an RV now and you're doing the RV life. Is there something else that like a fun fact about you, Alison, that we wouldn't normally know?
Sure. So I am a 3-time surviving Spartan race runner. Are you familiar with the Spartan race
Yes.
obstacle? Yes. So I've run 3 and survived all of them, and I got really good at climbing walls and going up ropes and doing all sorts of, carrying sacks over my shoulders and all the things. That time has passed, but I'm very proud of saying that I did it 3 times and I survived all of them. I did not die.
That is amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today. I've had the best time. You are a breath of fresh air. For our listeners, please go check Alison out. Go follow her, go connect with her, get in her in her email box so you can get all of her weekly goodies, and check out her lives because I've seen them, I've been on them, and she is a breath. I'm telling you, she's fun, she's a breath of fresh air, and she knows her stuff. So if you're feeling a little scattered in your business, not knowing what your next step is or what to do, reach out to Alison, whether you feel like you're ready for her or not, or an OBM, she'll tell you, but she'll also support you in that process. So thank you so much, Alison, for being with me today. And this has been such a joy.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved it.
Awesome. Well, if you've missed any of Alison's contact info, just check out the show notes because everything is inside. And thank you again for joining Alison and I on today's episode of the Be She podcast. Go be empowered, be seen, and be heard. And I'll see you on the next episode.